Wanted to make a video talking about grazing with Batt latches. Out here grazing these cows at about, trying to graze them around 100,000 pounds, moving every 12 hours. I'd like to move more often. This place is about 4 miles from the house and even farther from kind of our headquarters, so it makes it more difficult to do so. But they're getting a fresh strip right now. They're acting like they don't know what I'm doing because I'm taking a video. But this group's got pairs and replacement heifers that are getting ready to get a bull in the next few weeks. You can see here's the strip they're crossing into where they get new grass. And this strip is probably from there to here is in the neighborhood of probably about 20 yards wide. Gets a little wider at the end. You can see the reel down there. And there's the post. That's where the fence is. Gets a little wider. They aren't perfectly triangular. Anyhow, I wanted to graze these at a higher density and a longer, narrower paddock in an effort to trample a little more of this fescue. It's getting a little bit ahead of me. I didn't get here soon enough. And so I wanted to kind of get some of it knocked down and get some leaf matter on the ground. This is an old Bermuda hay field that we've been trying to revamp for the last several years. But this would be the last piece they came through. And as you can see, there's pretty good trample, pretty good graze all around. I mean, that's headed out fescue right there that they nibbled on. Manure pats are good. Everything here looks pretty good. And this stuff here, it's not super thick underneath. It looks a lot better when you look across it than what it does when you get down in it. But I'm trying to keep these cows. Here's even some orchard grass. There's fescue, there's some cheatgrass, there's some ryegrass. There's lots of red clover, the Dutch white clover out here. There's some sour docks. There's what I call cheatgrass. I don't know if everybody else calls it that. I don't think that's the technical name for it. Here's another clover. I'm not sure. That might be like an Alsike here with these pointy leaves. But yeah, like I said, I've got next 2 strips set up. There's this one, that one, and then there's another one on farther. So it's Wednesday morning. It's got this one set up to go off this afternoon or this evening, probably around, I think I set it for like 5:15, so that once they come out for their evening graze, they'll have this strip. I don't have my Batt latch up there yet. I forgot to bring my second one, so I'll bring it back later when I come to check on some water. But you can see here's my other strip. This one might be a little bigger, not for any specific reason. That's just kind of how my post fell and where I'm setting. So that one I'll set to go off. Again, it's Wednesday morning. I'll have that one set off for Thursday morning. And then I'll come back and set up a new batch of doubles. And I've got some of the homemade Batt latches that I might try to get set up here too. My cow's touching the fence down there. Must have got pushed into it. There's a couple in heat out here. So, and this is how I set up my Batt latches. This is just a pigtail. It's about all I use those for, is these and for curves or bends, corners in my fences, my poly wires. The Batt latch is of course upside down, but that doesn't matter. Sometimes I'll use like the fiberglass sucker rod posts, and you can put it here as long as you got a pounder. That's just an extra thing to carry, but it does work if you need it to. And I tied a piece of poly rope on my gate latch, or my gate spring, excuse me. That's just to make the gate hole bigger. It helps with training, but also with a bigger herd of cattle like this, you got less trample in the gate hole. So I'll show you over here where my last gate hole was. we've had quite a bit of rain, or not quite a bit. We've had ample moisture, and you can see there where that's where the last gate hole was. And I'm not mad about that, but I don't want it to get any worse than that. So making the gate hole bigger sure helps. But yeah, this is the last strip they had. This was a strip before that. I probably overgrazed this. These strips here, the last two, were narrower than what I'm doing now. I figured out what I had set up was a little too small, which they're doing fine. But I'm just trying to capture as much energy off of the grass and the forage as I can, while putting as much energy back into the soil as we can. And obviously with these things nursing calves and getting ready for breeding season, performance is key. So we kind of follow, or I kind of follow when I'm doing this method, the Ian Mitchell-Enos grazing practices. Let them be selective and get what they want to get off of it, and then move on to the next one. Keep an eye on gut fill, keep an eye on manure, and just go from there. I don't have any shade in this field, so I have to back graze, and they're actually back grazing into another paddock here for shade. Just kind of how the chips fell. If it was cooler weather, which it's supposed to cool off this weekend, I'll probably switch from that, because I've got another, there's probably 20 more acres here that I need to do this with. But again, shade becomes a limiting factor for me. So, but when I can do this, boy, I sure like it. It works well. The cattle do well. It's good for the grass. It's pretty neat. So that's it.